Hi all, welcome to another video tutorial of Easy Way to Automation. In our last video, we saw how can we set up Karate framework using Karate JUnit 5 dependency. So today we are going to see how can we use get method and how can we use assertions in Karate framework. So we know why we are using get method if we want to fetch any information. Then we can go for get method. We have different methods available when it comes to API. We have get, post, put, patch, delete. So get method is basically used to fetch any information. Let me go to my project. So here what I can do, I'll create one feature file and I'll name it as get book details dot feature. I can write get book details. So first scenario will be to fetch book details by valid book ID. So if we have a valid book ID, then we should be able to fetch the book details. So I can take this particular endpoint. So I can write over here given URL and I'll provide the URL in between single quotes. Then I have to write when method and here I have to use get, then status 200. Okay, so what I can do here is I'll go to JUnit runner test and I'll just change the feature file name. So instead of get user details, I can write get book details. So let's run it. So it is going to run our feature file get book details.feature and it is going to generate the test execution report. Our execution is over. So let's click on the link to generate or to open the HTML report. See, we have got our report. So if I go to feature file, here I am providing the book ID. Okay, so this is the complete URL. Okay, but if you see our base URL is this. Okay, so after that I am giving the path. Okay, so I can also write it like this. So this is my base URL. Then I can write end path and I can provide the rest of the URL. So even if you don't provide slash here, that is absolutely fine because Karate framework will take care of it. So it will add a slash automatically. Okay. And after that, if I want to print the status, so I can just write print response. Okay. So let's first print response, and I can also print response status. So let's re-execute it. Okay, I forgot to add end. Let's re-execute. The execution is over. Let's refresh our test execution report. So if you see, we have got our response. It has given the ID and the title of the book, the description of the book, how many pages are there. So it has given everything about the book having book ID 1. And here we have got our response status also. So if you want to display any information, then you can use print. And if you want to show the response header, so you can also write response headers. So it will show you the response headers. So if I re-execute it, it will show you the response headers as well. Let me refresh the report. See, we have got our response headers also. Now, how can we put assertions? Okay, so we are executing our test script, but we should have some checkpoints. We should have some assertions to make the test script either passed or failed, right? So how can we add assertions? So we have something called as match. So we can use the keyword match to put assertions. For example, if you see here, uh, if I expand the response, right? So here I have got ID, title, right? So I can assert all these values. So for example, I can write like this and print response dot ID equal to, then I have to provide what ID. So my expected ID is 1. Then I can write here 1 and not match here. Here I have to write match instead of print. Okay, and match. So either you can write response or you can also write dollar dot title. So here dollar represents your response only. So either you can write response or you can replace response with dollar symbol. Okay, dollar dot title equal to so book 1. So I can write book 1. Also, if I want to assert the page count also, that also I can do. So I can write and match dollar dot page count 100. Okay, I can write it like this 100. So here, as it is a numeric value, right, 1, so you don't have to give any single quotes. So let's run this. I'll re-execute it. I refreshed the test execution report and see. So all our assertions passed, right? Instead of match, you can also write assert. So I'll copy this and paste it over here. So I can replace match with assert. But here you cannot use dollar symbol. Here you have to write response. Response.title, response.page count. And I can also write and response assert response dot status is equal to 200. I can write it like this, response dot status, because I am expecting response status. I'm expecting response status to be 200. So let's re-execute it. Let's refresh our test execution report and you can see all our assertions passed. Now what if I want to assert the response headers? So if I go to the test execution report and if I click here, so I am getting response headers, right? Suppose if I want to validate, the content type has to be application/JSON char set UTF-8 and the version has to be 1.0. So how can I validate that? So I can write it like this. Suppose first I want to print it, so I can write print. I can write response headers. Always give end print response headers. And I can write content type. Zero. Because if you see, it is a JSON array, right? So it is a JSON array. So I have to give the index value. Okay. So if you see content type is a JSON array, so I have to provide index value. So let's re-execute it. And we will check whether we are getting the value of content type or not from the response headers. It will take some time to execute. Our execution is over. Let's go and refresh our test execution report. So if I click here, see I have got this value, right? So I can assert this value also. So I can write and match header. So if I write match header, automatically Karate will understand, okay, I want to assert a value from the response headers and I want to validate this content type has to be this. So I can write it like this. In the single quotation, I can write it. Okay. Suppose if I want to validate a selected portion of the content type value, that is also possible. So I can also write it like this, but I have to use the contents keyword. So I can write and match header. Okay. And I can write content type contains. So I can write it like this, application/JSON. I can also write it like this, and I am telling you every possible way you can assert or like you can provide checkpoints. And match karate dot response dot header. In the parenthesis you can provide the key. So I want to validate content type, and it has to be this value. So we can assert the exact value, and also we can assert the part of its value using contents keyword. So let's re-execute it. Our execution is over. Let's refresh our test execution report. And if you see, all our assertions passed. So the way we validated content type key, right? from response headers. You can also validate other keys as well. Like we have server, we have transfer encoding. So all these values you can also validate, or you can implement assertions. I hope you found this video useful. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching this.